Welcome to You Dad Me at Hello. This is RJ, as always, with Mike and Andy. 3 dads. You didn't ask for it, but we're here anyways. I'm very excited. We're in episode 38. Love is in the air. We are going to be talking about the greatest TV couples of all time. And with love being in the air, so is hate. With the brackets that have been released today. So we thank you for saying your opinions of how much you despise the brackets that have. No, there is so many couples that could have been on this list. And sadly, if you're tuning in, you're listening to 3 semi-young dads who have chosen some of the newer shows over maybe some of the older ones. So we are missing a couple of big time names on here, which you've pointed out. We'll talk about that later, I think, towards the end of the episode, as always. But how you guys feeling?
Good. Yeah, I think we also should talk about that. We do not have cartoon or non-human couples. I know some people were like Bert and Ernie. I guess are a couple of friends, couple of
dinosaurs.
I don't know. Could be more than friends.
Not the mama.
Yeah, we don't have dinosaurs. Yeah. We don't have Bob's Burgers. The Simpsons, Marge and Homer. So this is strictly. Oh no, my headphones just told me low battery.
Oh gosh.
Oh no.
Well, I was going to follow up your statement with, well, if you all don't hate this episode so much, we will do a cartoon couples episode.
That's true.
I'm down for that.
I will be there for it. I don't know a ton of cartoon couples. I don't know a ton of cartoons. So I grew up as an old man, and I, as a child, watched Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore. I did not watch cartoons. So Family Guy, I got into like everyone else did for the first 19 seasons of the 38 million they have. And I watched a little bit of Simpsons, as always. But I can't say that I like either of those shows currently anymore. But I know that hurts you, Mike. But
Simpsons got funny again. It's not as funny as its heyday, but it got funny again. I still think it's funnier than Family Guy ever was. Just saying. I
don't know. I just, for me, it's cartoons. I just didn't get into cartoons as a kid of any kind. I liked a little bit here and there. Doug, Rugrats, when I was really young, but even those, like, they're okay. I would much rather watch black and white TV.
Watching actually Mr. Ed.
You're old. You're old when I got Paramount Plus, and on it, humble brag. I got Dick Van Dyke in color. It was like a special that CBS did, and it's like 3 Dick Van Dyke episodes in color. And I was like, "Oh my word!" Add to watch list immediately.
That's a real flex. Excited. You just flexed on everyone.
I pay that $4.99 with ads.
I better get this $9.99.
So hey, hopefully everybody is hanging out, joining us tonight. There are some storms in the area, so if you lose us, you can always catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, pretty much anywhere else you can get your streaming podcast as soon as this episode drops, which would be next Friday. I think we've kind of caught up with our episodes. So our latest episode, which we just did last week, is dropping tomorrow. Episode 37, which was top 90s movie songs. Great episode, and it'll be available tomorrow on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you can get your stuff. So we're kind of caught up, so we can't really skip too much going forward.
That's bad news for us, because now
kind of we're
I'm
not
already
even sure how it happened. I know, it's funny. I literally turned on this podcast. So we always meet up a couple minutes before, and as soon as it popped up, Mike's popped up, and he's like, as soon as it came on, I was like, oh gosh, he feels the way I do. So
it's gotta be a great night. Can you hear me okay? I had to take my headphones off because I don't plan ahead and realize I didn't charge my Bluetooth headphones.
We hear you.
All right. There's no echo, nothing like that.
No, you sound fine.
No, surprisingly not. No.
Hunter, what do you think, Hunter? How's Andy sound? I think it sounds all right.
How's my shirt look?
Hi.
It says butts.
Yeah, we're all wearing weird shirts where I just got this guy popping out from the bottom, and you've got butts. And you have Metallica, which is the same as butts. So.
Oh, come on, my guy. Goodness gracious.
For that.
Heresy.
So hey, if you can comment below, as we go through this, whether you agree with us or not. If you don't know who they are, feel free to talk hate or go watch the show. We've got some good shows on this list, so I'm pretty happy about it.
We have some shows that have like multiple couples too, which
that's true.
I guess we'll talk about. So yeah, there's some ones that were probably left off from, I don't know, 70s and prior, but again, not really the shows that we were watching. So
speak for yourself.
Well, I mean,
yeah, Mike was upset about this, I think.
Yeah, there were some like Edith and Archie for sure. All in the Family was one that people were talking about, and one that we went back and forth, almost made our list. So they were like just on the cusp, because one of us didn't want them on the list. I won't say any names, RJ. And then Hunter's on Band Lab as well. Hello to Band Lab.
Hello, Band Lab.
Hello, Band Labbers.
So what? Let's before we go into this, like, let's talk about like what's going to, like, when we talk about couples, like, and moving on, like, what makes a great couple for you? How are we crowning this winner of the greatest couple of TV? Like,
my first criteria
great question.
is there has to be two people.
Whoa. Right. Do you know the world these days? There could be as many as you want.
In a couple?
Love is love.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be called a couple, right? I guess.
Right.
Ruffle.
No, for me, I was thinking chemistry on the show, how they interacted with each other, if they had any morality, I guess, because this was national television, so they were somewhat influential, right?
Yeah.
Were they funny? Kind of normal stuff, like what I would look for in my friends. I want to be friends with these people.
Yeah, I'm kind of going with a lot of that, as well as like, was it an interesting story arc? Did I want to see them together? Also, what's gonna kind of detract me from choosing couples, like, in real life, would they actually be toxic? Like, did they really have a good relationship? I think there's a couple couples on here where I'm like, they were horrible people.
Yeah.
Maybe they deserve to be with each other. I don't know. So that'll come up in discussion, I'm sure.
Yeah. For me, it was a combination of what you just said, Andy. For the couples that weren't couples when the show started, did you want them together? Did you like the idea of them being together? And were you excited when it finally happened? And then for the couples that were already a couple prior, again, were they likable? Like, and I'll just throw some names out there right now, but like, you think about Phil and Vivian from Fresh Prince. They were a fun couple. They were the couple from the start. You liked them. At least I liked them. We'll talk about that more in depth later. But, they were just a fun couple. And there are couples that we didn't include on here, which we'll get into at the end of the episode, that I just didn't care about them. I didn't care if they were a couple or not. They weren't interesting to me. So I didn't include some of those. So, but yeah, so I'm excited. Let's take a look at the bracket here. I did forget to share my screen as always. But there it is. Greatest TV couples today. That's everybody from Andy and April in Parks and Rec, all the way down to Phil and Vivian on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And like Andy said, there are a number of couples on here from the same show. I think Parks and Rec falls in that category. I think Friends falls in that category. I think Modern Family falls in that category. So we've got a couple, and to tell you the truth, there were more from those shows that we probably could have included. Modern Family has like 4 or 5 to begin with. So we just kind of chose the best of those. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Moving on into the first bracket, Andy and April from Parks and Recreation versus DJ and Steve from Full House, the original Full House. I guess you could count Fuller House too, because they continue, but Full House, DJ and Steve.
I'm definitely taking.
What do you guys think?
I'm definitely taking that into consideration. They went over into a second show, and their love blossomed from there.
That's longevity.
Yes.
So I've never seen Parks and Rec. Gasp.
What?
Yeah.
Oh
Never.
my word.
Oh,
Do you like The Office?
Never saw The Office either.
You like TV?
Sometimes.
You never saw
What?
The Office?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No. Ask my
Yeah,
wife.
gone. I'm just kidding. What? I can't believe it. What is going on? I'm sorry, I moved you down there. Hold on. All right, you're back.
It's fine.
But
it's fine. It's fine.
I can't. You haven't seen The Office or Parks and Rec?
No.
What are you doing with?
I feel like I know.
Not watching TV. Not watching TV.
We're canceling this podcast from now on and watching this every Thursday.
There was a long period of time where pretty much all I did was work 5 days a week and play music 3 times a week, and there was no TV. So I missed a lot of TV.
I did not watch The Office when it was on, but I watched it in succession after that, and then watched it again, and then watched it again.
Again.
Parks and Rec is, if you like The Office, you're gonna like Parks and Rec, and but unfortunately for this one, I'm gonna choose DJ and Steve. I'm gonna put that out there.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Andy and April just because I know Mike is not gonna
is gonna pick DJ and Steve. I probably would have picked DJ and Steve anyways, just because I feel like I grew up with them, right in the feels.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so we need to back up a little bit because I also saw some comments that a lot of other people have not seen The Office, which again, What are you doing, people? And Parks and Rec. Andy and April are the ultimate, like Andy is, first off, Chris Pratt is Andy. So if you know Chris Pratt, Andy is Chris Pratt, and he plays the kind of the ultimate dummy, which I guess DJ and Steve have a very similar relationship too. Picture Steve later in life. And then April is like the ultimate goth girl, just, always talking about death and destruction and just hates her job at the Park and Recreation office. And they somehow worked. It was great. I dare say I like their relationship on Parks and Rec better than I liked Jim and Pam on The Office, which they're very, those were the two major couples at that time. And they drew me to watch Parks and Rec more than Jim and Pam drew me to The Office, but we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, DJ and Steve are great too. And for people who don't know, they go on to Fuller House. Will they or won't they? I think I didn't see the last season of Fuller House, but they were together at some point while I was watching it. So
no snitching.
Kate will tell you all about it on Saturday, I promise.
Okay.
Did Kate watch Fuller House?
Oh yeah,
I did.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the last season of that. It's fun. You know what you're getting into. It's not. It's Full House again.
Yeah.
That's like asking for extra cheese on a cheese sandwich.
And cover it with nacho cheese.
Well, DJ and Steve are moving on. Andy and April are not. I think we have another Parks and Rec name coming up actually right now. And this is going up against a super couple that I think I might have issues with. Ben and Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec versus Ross and Rachel from Friends. That seems like a no-brainer. Ross and Rachel seem to be the couple that's on everybody's list. But I didn't like them. I didn't like Ross and Rachel together because Ross was a jerk.
It was a very rocky relationship.
Yeah, he talked. Andy, you said it earlier. Are they toxic for one another? And Ross was a jerk. Like, there's a whole, like, remember the whole, like, Zach is a jerk from Saved by the Bell? Ross is the jerk of Friends. And I hate to say it because, Andy, you and your wife both think I am him, but he's kind of a jerk. So I'm gonna go with Ben and Leslie on this one, even though I know that's not moving forward.
You make similar faces, and have similar reactions to Ross for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also a paleontologist, from what I understand.
A jerk.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with Ross and Rachel because I don't know who Ben and Leslie are.
Now, everybody that's voting for Ross and Rachel, why Ross and Rachel? Like, all right, for Friends, this was like the main plot line of the show.
Yeah, we were still rooting for them.
Arguably. I mean, I think Monica and Chandler took over at some point, but that's fine.
Okay. But overall, like at the very end, right? She came back.
Yep.
Right? And it was all...
Yeah, because he guilted her like the toxic douche he is.
At the airport.
I know.
And were they on a break?
I think
yes, they were on a break.
Yeah, I think that it was confirmed that they were on a break.
I think they were on a break.
I'll give him that. I'll give him
She wrote 17 pages front and back.
18.
18 pages?
18 pages.
18?
Yeah. You better watch out when you open that door later.
Ooh, I'm going with Leslie. Yeah, Ben and Leslie.
Wow, are we kicking out Ross and Rachel right now?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
They were a completely toxic couple. They were both very not good people to each other, to really anybody. Like, yeah, Ross was a big D-bag.
Yeah. Super homophobic too, by the way. If you've ever seen, there's like this, there's a whole YouTube series about how Ross is a super jerk.
I mean, most of the 90s shows were like that.
That was a weird time.
That's true.
No, so Tina will not be mad because she doesn't like them as a couple either. They do deserve to be on the list because they are part of pop culture, TV history, as like, you know, I guess the it couple.
Yeah, they broke up a bunch.
They broke up a bunch on and off. Ross gets married a bunch of times, but yet still wants to be with her. Like, they can never connect. Yeah, Ross had to grow up for sure, and she did too. You know, from the beginning of the series till the end. I
don't know.
For me, I'm not sure.
They knew each other since they were in high school, so you know, there's always that when you meet someone that young and you develop a relationship. Sometimes that relationship never matures like it should because you used to pick on each other in high school. So maybe that's why the relationship ended up as toxic as it was.
Well, she wasn't nice to him when he was in.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
But anyway.
Well, for people who don't know, Ben and Leslie was the star of Parks and Rec, played by Amy Poehler, correct?
Correct.
And then Ben Wyatt was actually played by Adam Scott, who is an amazing actor, has done a lot of really cool things, including Big Little Lies on HBO. You should check it out. But he actually sings an Elvis song on that. It's awesome. But yeah, so Adam Scott, Leslie Knope, who is Amy Poehler from SNL.
He also sang Sweet Child of Mine in Step Brothers.
Oh, does he? Nice.
The car ride with him and his family. Yeah.
I'm not sure I've seen Step Brothers in its entirety. I know.
Let's move on.
I'll kick myself out.
It's like the only Will Ferrell movie I can tolerate.
What? Anchorman?
We've been over this.
We've
been over this. Wedding Crashers.
Oh, this is a road we don't want to go down again.
There's actually a new
wrong time.
There's a new Will Ferrell movie coming out where it's about yeah, I forgot. Let's move on. Here we go. It's good.
That sounds amazing.
It's called The Shrink Next Door. There it is. The Shrink Next Door. Check it out.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know. The next one is what we were just talking about, guys. Monica and Chandler versus Al Bundy and Peggy Bundy. Al and Peg being married for the entirety of the show. Monica and Chandler being the will they, won't they. Actually, surprise couple, I think, in the beginning, if I can remember right.
Yeah.
It was the couple you didn't know you wanted until it happened. We were all looking at Ross and Rachel, and then Monica and Chandler came out of nowhere, and you're like, whoa, these actually are nice people who like each other.
But they had to hide it from everyone.
Went,
especially in the hotel room, that hotel room.
Yeah.
Everyone went nuts.
I can't remember. Was Monica and Chandler, were Monica and Chandler supposed to be long-term? We just watched the Friends reunion together, and I can't remember they were talking about that. But I know the odd couple that didn't work out was the Joey and Rachel couple. But Monica and Chandler just seemed to work out. It was so good. And I like Chandler. He's probably my favorite of the cast. They were just more wholesome.
I connect with his sarcasm.
Yes.
I like Chandler bombs sarcasm.
Yeah.
Of course you do. See what I did there?
I do.
Yeah,
That was good. You got me.
Yeah.
Monica
and Chandler for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're going with a couple that actually cares for each other, yeah, it's going to be Monica and Chandler. But I still love the dynamic between Al and Peg, and I like Married with Children. Some of that stuff obviously didn't age very well.
No.
You wouldn't be able to get away with a lot of that stuff nowadays, even though it still airs in syndication. So I don't know how they get away with that, but Al and Peg still loved each other. He admitted that after they were separated, he said he kinds of likes Peg.
Both of them went on to do great things. Ed O'Neill went on to be on Modern Family, among many other things. Katie Seagal is actually, get this, now married or getting married or dating Dan from Roseanne. She's the new Roseanne. So Katie Seagal ended up on The Connors as the girlfriend, and she is great with Dan. It actually is much better than the original Roseanne Dan relationship. So it's kind of cool seeing that both of these guys are on other shows. And then obviously we could talk a ton about Christina Applegate or David Faustino, but it was a good show. It was not my style, so I did not really enjoy the show as much as you guys did, probably.
Yeah, I love the show. Al and Peggy definitely had an interesting relationship. Back and forth, kind of digs at each other. Were they toxic? I guess a little bit.
They were terrible to their kids.
They're terrible to parenting is a totally different. Yeah, if we were looking at parents, definitely not on the list. But at the end of the day, they loved each other, right? And they were always there for each other. High school sweethearts, just kind of living that life. Maybe not as wholesome as they kind of remind me of like the newer Edith and Archie.
Yeah.
With kind of the grips about each other and bugging each other. She always wanted to have some special times with him.
And he just screamed as he got dragged up the stairs.
Yeah, he just wanted to look at his Bigum's magazine.
The much loved Parents Television Council named Married with Children the worst show of 95, 96, and 97, calling it the crudest comedy on primetime television, peppered with lewd punchlines about sex, masturbation, the gay lifestyle, and the lead character's fondness for pornographic magazines and strip clubs. So they made the PTC, which, as you know, most of the shows we loved in the 90s made it on their lists.
But all that stuff was offset by making him suffer through his life. He hated everything. His car was never paid off. He had like a 1970s station wagon that he never finished paying off. He worked as a shoe salesman. But afforded a really nice house somehow.
Yeah.
But he suffered through everything. So, there's that.
Yeah, they lived in Chicago, and that was a pretty decent house for being a shoe salesman. But yeah. I don't know. What did shoe salesmen make in the 80s and 90s?
Apparently, at least
I feel like that's not
a lot of commission. A lot of commission.
Is that even an actual job now? I feel like I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know anyone that's ever been a shoe salesman.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's any hard sales in shoes anymore. I feel like there's just someone goes to a shoe store to buy shoes. It's not like, hey buddy, come over here. You gotta buy these shoes over here.
I don't recall that ever happening.
You want some of these shoes?
Finest Italian leather.
If anybody ever approached me in a shoe store, I would run out of there. Like, I don't think I've ever gone into a shoe store and had someone approach me and be like, would you like me to help you with these? Like, no. Like, what do you do?
I mean, I've been into a store and some random person was like, can I measure your feet? I was like, do you work here? And he's like, yeah.
Also, can I take pictures?
Hey, the easiest $300 I ever made.
Free shoes.
All right. Well, hey, Monica and Chandler moving forward, leaving Alan, Peggy in the dust. Next up, we have Jessie and Becky from Full House versus Roseanne and Dan from Roseanne / The Connors. I think Roseanne did not make it into the Connors. They changed it to the Connors once Roseanne left, so my bad. But they did appear together in the Roseanne reboot, which I think lasted a year or so before she could not control her mouth. Yeah, I guess we could talk about Becky too, but hey, it is what it is. Jessie and Becky, Roseanne and Dan, lewd ladies.
Yeah, right.
What do you guys think?
I'm all Jessie and Becky. I mean, come on. He sang Forever by the Beach Boys. He, was in the Beach Boys. It's Uncle Jesse. It's Aunt Becky. I know she did the whole school thing. It is what it is. You do you.
Becky didn't do that stuff.
Becky did do that. It happened. She is Aunt Becky. There is no real person. It's Aunt Becky. Nobody ever said like, oh, Lori Laughlin's good. No, they Aunt Becky.
She is her, and her is she.
They
are one and the same.
You're still hosting Wake Up San Francisco with Danny Tanner.
Jessie and Becky are great. Roseanne was not my show. I didn't watch that show until the Connors, which I love now, but Roseanne's not in it. My vote's Jessie and Becky.
This is really tough for me, because the relationship between Roseanne and Dan just seemed like real? It seemed real. Yeah, it seemed so genuine. Even Roseanne has gone on record to say that she had actually fallen in love with John Goodman during the first season of the show. And he even said being on set with her almost was like being married because she is such a strong personality and she was very opinionated. So he felt like he was working with someone he might be married to because of, how he felt while he was on set. I don't know. It's like the Jessie and Becky thing, as great as it is, it was super corny. Like it was super cheesy. It didn't feel as real as Roseanne and Dan. So I don't know. This is a tough choice for me.
I'm going to make it even tougher.
It is.
I'll go Roseanne and Dan.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Mike, I'm going to agree with you though. Roseanne and Dan reminded me, and I won't name names, but it reminded me of somebody like my parents no names. But like most of my family, I feel like it described the lower to middle class, white families. It's just how it is. It was Cranston in my heyday. Like that's what it was. So many of my friends from school, you'd go over their house and it was like Roseanne and Dan. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. This is tough. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. You get more of a feel good feeling from Jessie and Becky though. So,
forever.
I hate to boot out Roseanne and Dan, but I'm gonna have to go with Jessie and Becky, or Jesseki as they are called by the fandom now. Apparently,
Mike, you know what?
Okay,
have mercy.
I am having mercy.
Rebecca Donaldson Katsopoulos, portrayed by Lori Loughlin. Jesse Katsopoulos. Why can't I remember his name? What's his name?
John Stamos.
John Stamos. That's it. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Gosh. Yeah, they had the twins, right?
Yeah.
They lived in.
Talk about them. Yeah, we got to talk about Roseanne and Dan.
Oh, sorry, I don't have anything to say about them. She's dead on the show now.
What happened in the last season? Explain it to me.
So nothing.
No, so
John Goodman. What the hell happened?
Dan had a heart attack.
Okay.
He died.
Okay.
But it turns out
then they say
he didn't die.
Okay.
Because Roseanne wrote a book. And I don't know. He cheated at some point, but that was also in the book. I don't know.
So basically, everything made sense until the last season, right?
Last 2 seasons?
Okay. Because I remember like there was a lot of like weirdness that was happening there towards the end that didn't make sense. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so definitely felt more of a real couple fighting, yelling at the kids, but like they did it in a team effort.
Yeah. Again, I feel like the show was much more real and grounded, though. You know, when there were issues, they would talk to the kids as I would talk to my own children. It wasn't like
hey, moron, get over here.
Yeah, it wasn't like all right, time to sit on the couch and then have the sad music play in the background while I teach you a life lesson, and then we'll forget this ever happened. You know, I felt like watching Roseanne, there were repercussions when they were about to talk to their kids, or there was like a whooping, like someone's about to get a leather belt.
Yeah. Again, I didn't watch enough of Roseanne back in the day, but it was, I saw it. Now with the Connors, I like Dan. I think he's great. Katie Seagal does a better job, in my opinion, of being the girlfriend for him. She's a strong character too, just like Roseanne was, but not as, I don't know, white trashy, I guess would be the term to use maybe. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
You canceled.
Yeah.
Me?
Yep.
Out of here.
Why? I can't say white trash. I grew up white trash. Guys, chill.
You're like Forky. Trash. We're all like Forky.
I went to the Boston Museum of Science today, and they have a Pixar science exhibit where they talk about how they come together and like do all that. It's a really cool exhibit. So if you're in the area, Boston Science Museum has a really cool Pixar exhibit. It's cool. But anyways, moving on, we've got Kevin and Winnie from the Wonder Years versus Phil and Claire from Modern Family. I think this is going to divide our watchers here, because this is a very different time frame. Kevin and Winnie from the 80s Wonder Years playing, what, a 60s couple? Was it 60s? I think that it was supposed to take place. And Phil and Claire from late 2000s all the way to last year. I think the show just ended last year, which I have not finished, so please, no spoilers. I am in season 9 currently on Hulu. So
you can trust me not to spoil it.
Hello, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. I saw your comments. Didn't think you were going to make it with all the disappointing couples on here.
That's why he's late. He's like, I don't even care.
I know. I'm not watching this. He got home. He's like, I got nothing else to do. Oh, man. All right. Kevin and Winnie from Caitlin. That's a bit surprising. But
I don't know. I'm going with Kevin and Winnie.
Oh, okay. Kevin and Winnie. First one here. I'm going to go with Phil and Claire. And maybe it's because I've been watching 9 seasons over the last 4 months here. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Phil and Claire for me. So Andy, this is all on you now.
He's not even paying attention.
No, what are you talking about?
We're on a podcast, Andy.
Okay.
But
oh man, Kevin and Winnie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hate it. I didn't watch the Wonder Years as much as you guys might have, but I don't have any hate for it. It's a good show.
Yeah, I'm having a really tough time thinking about Phil and Claire as a couple. I don't know. Like, I always see them as kind of individual characters more than anything. Like, I feel like they always had their own kind of thing that they were doing. Like, Phil was always into something goofy, weird, and I don't know. I know they always had like that Valentine's Day hookup thing that they did. With Clive Bixby and Juliana.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
I had forgotten. You have not seen Modern Family either?
No.
Oh,
no.
Modern Family.
I'm watching these YouTube videos and start watching TV.
I have forgotten how funny that show was, and it came on Hulu, all 11 seasons, which I've been waiting for. So we're in season 9 something. But yeah, Claire's like a, no nonsense, not super into the lovey-dovey stuff. And then you've got Phil, who's like, a romantic at heart, but he's a goofball too. And, she appreciates him, but sometimes I see like Jessie and I in that, because I tend to be the more sentimental, like, let's get a gift that's like really lovey and stuff, and I'll give it to her and she's like, oh, this is great, and then like, it's just she's not like that. No, but she'll tell you it's very similar. I'm definitely the sentimental one, and Phil is too, and he's a goofball. He wants to be a magician, which is had a lot of funny gags. But
this is gonna be really funny on Saturday when we see each other, and RJ is gonna be on his best behavior. Like he's gonna come down with his head down. Yeah, Phil and Clay definitely opposites attract. I agree with that. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about. I mean, they were good parents. They raised, 3 good kids. They did the best that they could. So I think from a parenting standpoint, I think they were good.
That's how you like rate parents. They did the best they could.
The best they could. But that's all you can do as a parent. You do the best that you can.
That's the best you can. Your kid's gonna be a dummy no matter what you do.
Exactly. Like
no one lost an arm in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
I guess we did.
They're out on their own, doing okay. Then you did your job.
That's true. All right. Well, hey, moving on. We've got what I thought was going to be 2 couples that I would see to the end, and now they're facing each other. We have Glenn and Maggie from The Walking Dead versus Cory and Topanga from Boy Meets World. That could not be more of an opposites.
Absolutely.
Of shows here, but Glenn and Maggie are from The Walking Dead. You may or may not have seen that show. It's one of the probably the bigger horror shows of all time, but a lot of people don't like horror shows. So, but The Walking Dead is on AMC. Glenn and Maggie play people that meet in the 2nd season or 3rd. I want to say the 2nd season is where they go to the farm, but and then you have Cory.
Yeah, I think they met even. Early on in the 2nd season, I think it was.
Yeah, so Maggie plays the daughter of a farmer, Glenn, Herschel, and Glenn plays a pizza delivery driver from Atlanta. And Glenn's group meets up with the farm, meets Maggie, and it's a will they, won't they? And when they do, it is great. They end up making out in a market, a general store.
Yeah, all the zombies.
It is one of those things where it's like they're in the store and zombies are everywhere and they still decide to make out. And you're like, I mean, why not?
Could be the last time.
So yeah, it's and no spoilers, but things don't end well towards the end there. Actually, you know what? Spoilers. Get ready. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But my vote is Cory and Topanga, just because it's one of my favorite shows, hands down. As a child. However, the problems with them too. But
yeah. This is another tough one because Glenn and Maggie as a couple really show, that you can really be in some trying times and, survive the zombie apocalypse. Because technically he survived the zombie apocalypse. It wasn't a zombie that got him. Spoilers. And they were resilient and they were an on and off kind of romance, right? But they and were even separated at one point. And then I'll find you. And they still got together.
I forgot, Andy, you don't watch The Walking Dead.
No. So
Maggie and Glenn were a great couple. I think they had a child at some point, but they make it 8 seasons. I think it's in season 8 or 9. And Negan, the best villain of all time, bashes. Spoilers! Glenn's face gets smashed in with a baseball bat. They show everything. His eye is hanging out. His face is all messed up.
Issue 100 of the books, if anyone wants.
Yeah, to know, it's one of the most brutal deaths on TV, and a lot of fans left the show. I said spoilers like 4 times, people.
That happened like 5 years ago.
Yes, gosh. No, I said spoilers before that too. But anyways, Glenn's dead, people, and it was a brutal death. And spoilers, he wasn't the only one. A lot of other people died. Actually, the whole cast is pretty much gone by now.
Yeah.
But anyways, Glenn dies. Maggie goes on. The reason I'm not voting for Glenn and Maggie is because where they are in The Walking Dead now, I actually don't feel bad for Maggie anymore. Negan's become an awesome dude. And she just needs to forgive him for bashing her husband's brains in and just move on.
When did
Yeah,
this start?
Cory and
A
Topanga.
Walking Dead talk show. What is this? The Talking Dead?
Yeah.
Hey,
We're
there is a
taking-
show called The Talking
I know.
We're
Dead.
taking his idea and just running with it.
Mike, who are you picking?
Well, he already said he was picking Cory and Topanga. That's what I was going to pick anyway. So
All right, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. 'Cause
All right. 3-way for Cory and Topanga.
I see what really I called up my good friend Minkus and he said Cory and Topanga, so I went with that.
is that
Lori,
dude still
Lori,
around?
so are you referring, Lori, to the actual Negan intro? Because I heard a lot of people did leave. I did not. I stayed. It does get better. There's about a half season of depression after that, and then they kind of come back. But yeah, I heard a lot of people left The Walking Dead after
There was
the
a
Negan.
there was a whole season of depression in season 2. Just sitting.
I
on a
actually did not
farm.
mind the farm. I liked the farm. I didn't like the prison. The prison was much longer.
The prison was better in
Um,
the books. The prison was intense in the
yeah.
books. Just
You wanna
saying.
Yeah,
hear
the
my
comic
notes
books are great.
about Maggie and Glenn.
Yes, I do actually.
All right, you ready? Walking Dead.
Those are some of my notes for some of the other couples. Yes.
Yeah. Well, first off, Lori, yeah, if you ever do get back into it, there's about a half season where it just doesn't get any better. But then the next season, you're like, yes, we're back. And then it goes down again and it comes back and it goes down. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm still watching it. Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Walking Dead World Beyond.
All right,
I'm all for it.
Shut
Wait,
up about Walking Dead.
There's
Let's-
another one.
There's 3 shows right now.
Oh
And
my
Fear the Walking Dead is the best one because it has Morgan on it now.
Talk about
great.
driving it into the ground.
And Dwight. No, it's great. However, Walking Dead is ending this season.
Wake
They
me
are-
up when
they
you're
are
done talking
ending.
about The Walking Dead.
Next week's episode is the best of The Walking Dead.
And why season 2 was the worst.
I liked it. It had the farm. Plus Beth and Maggie and Herschel. Those are the best characters on the show.
The only thing I remember from
Anyway.
season 2 was the zombie they pulled out of the well.
I
Mm.
literally could not be more bored by a conversation than I am.
Well, zombie. It was bloated and filled with water.
Yeah, his guts came out.
Oh my God.
All right, well, moving on from zombies and death to Doug and Kerry from King of Queens, I assume, and Mitch and Cam from Modern Family.
Well, I hope that's what you assume because I don't know who else you would have researched coming into the episode.
Supposed to be
Fools on you, because I did no research.
Oh,
No, Doug and Kerry are great, but Mitch and Cam for me. I'm not even going to explain why.
Same. I'm going to explain why, but yeah, no, Mitch and Cam for me.
yeah. I don't know too much about Mitch and Cam. I did see a little bit in doing some research. I do know that Doug and Kerry. We had some foreshadowing about toxic couples. These two, oh my goodness! Not only were they toxic to each other, they were kind of jerks to everyone. But it was still kind of funny. Just to give you an idea, if no one's ever seen the show King of Queens, these are the kind of people that received a gift. It was a painting from some of their best friends. They hated the painting, so they staged a burglary to get rid of the painting so they wouldn't have to look at it anymore.
Doug and Kerry were not a perfect match, Mary Lou. They were not a good match for anybody. No.
Everybody has voted for Doug and Kerry, and we have just killed them in the first round. So apologies.
Maybe they haven't seen Modern Family.
I know Mitch and Cam are great.
They're fantastic, like awesome couple. Yeah, Doug and Kerry. I mean, on the towards the end, what kind of they drifted away a little bit. Like Doug got his own apartment to kind of like get away. Like
Friggin' Kate.
that's like not sketch whatsoever. But then they had some problems getting pregnant, and then at the end they adopt a baby girl. So it all kind of works out.
Always solve your problems with adoption.
Well, on the way to
then she finds out she's pregnant as well.
yeah, I was gonna say on the way to go pick up the baby, she found out she
So
was pregnant.
bombshell. You've seen one episode like 4 times.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Carrie's not as bad as we say she is. I mean, she was always telling Doug to lose weight. Always calling him fat, saying he should lose weight. It's very encouraging. That's what couples should do.
I mean, you've got to give her credit. She did escape Scientology.
She did.
Which is always the plus. Yeah.
That's
granted, not on the show, but
No, but you want to talk about some weird stuff. Like
hey,
I've listened to
don't alienate our Scientology viewers.
Well, they wouldn't be able to say anything about it anyways.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, they can talk about it, but you don't learn about some of that stuff until you're in the Scientology thing for like 20 years or something. Yeah. She has a whole TV series about it and a couple of podcasts.
Andy's very quiet. He forgot to tell us that he joined Scientology over the weekend.
He loves Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is like the second in command for Scientology. You know how crazy that is.
I think.
Look, man, I just want to hang out with Lord Xenu and throw some virgins into a volcano. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a great weekend, I don't know what does.
Oh, Lori, thank you. Was she the Hawaii girlfriend? She was the Hawaii girlfriend, wasn't she, from the Hawaii movies on Saved by the Bell? Good stuff.
I just noticed that Mike.
I forgot about that.
I have a what?
You what?
Yeah. Oh, it's a filtered water bottle.
Okay, I thought you were like drinking like a juicy juice or something.
I got some apple juice. Helps me poop.
Man. Oh, man. Anyways, well, hey, we are voting out Doug and Kerry from King of Queens. We have not lost any viewers yet, so that's good. Mitch and Cam, moving on. I think we are on our last couples, the last bracket, I should say. And it's a good one. It's a hard one. Jim and Pam from The Office. Phil and Vivian from The Fresh Prince. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I don't.
It's easy for me.
That's because you haven't seen one of the best shows in the history of the world.
No, that's not why.
You going Phil and Viv?
I'm going Phil and Viv. Another one of those couples that were extremely genuine, and it just felt like a real relationship. And again,
which Phil and Viv though? Early Phil and Viv or late Phil? Old Phil and Viv or young Phil and Viv?
I don't know.
They didn't even try.
No, they didn't try. They didn't try.
It was funny though when they were like, "You look different."
After having the baby. Yeah. Phil and Viv.
I'm going Jim and Pam.
Oh wow. Okay. Goodness. Wow, you're putting it on me here. Where's Tina? What is she voting for here? I feel. Oh, I got it. I'm with her. All right. I was like, what show is she watching?
She was making a sandwich.
There were 2 Vivs, and Mary Lou, if you have HBO, there was a Fresh Prince reunion just recently, and they had both on. It was really cool moment.
So, I'm going with Jam. Mike went with Vivian.
Phil Van.
Philvian.
That sounds like a reproductive organ. Or
are you suffering from this? You can take Vilvian today.
It's like some villain from like a sci-fi movie. We must defeat Philvian.
Oh gosh. I don't know, man. Jim and Pam are like the will they, won't they champions. You just wanted that to happen. And when she was dating that other jerk face from the downstairs, like, oh gosh, like you just wanted them to be together. And John Krasinski's the man. Dude, I just saw Quiet Place 2, super good. Nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it's John Krasinski made it, so I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife's cool. She's in Jungle Cruise, which comes out tomorrow on the movies. Check it out.
Yeah, the Onion just said it's a great reminder on why to cancel Disney Plus.
Excuse me, I don't think I've ever hated a Rock movie ever. As bad as they've gotten, it's still The Rock. You shut your mouth. He was in San Andreas. There isn't a worse movie, but because The Rock's in it, you're like, okay, it's believable.
He was also in Rampage. That movie was bad.
You know what? I actually did not see Rampage. I
don't
no
think
interest.
we're making it out of the first round.
You what? We're like 50 minutes in. We're okay. All right. Anyways, I have no idea. Phil and Vivian are great. You know what? I'm voting for Jim and Pam, and here's why. Phil and Vivian, I only liked the first Vivian. I didn't like the second Vivian, and they literally did 3 seasons apiece.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the first one better. And I don't know why she aged 40 years between seasons 3 and 4.
The first Aunt Viv was, she was a Soul Train dancer, right?
Yes, and she was just their chemistry was much better. It was a very different chemistry with the second Viv. She was playing a more annoyed with the family kind of style, while the other one was like assertive and girl power. Like I thought that was a really cool character in the beginning.
Yeah. She was a professor, right? College professor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was a judge. Like both super smart, super successful, live in the LA mansion. They were very strong parents as well, and they were trying to raise, the nephew, Will, to on the right track, and they did a good job at doing that. But yeah, I think what really did it for me was that switch of mothers. There was definitely a difference in the relationship, a difference in the character. I didn't hate the new mom. I liked her, but it was just a different dynamic than the first one. I didn't connect with it as much in the back half of the series with her than I did in the original. So that's what kind of did it for me, where Jim and Pam were kind of consistent throughout.
That's true. We're in the top 8, guys. We're gonna, I think, get to the bottom of this rather quickly. But we have 8 couples left. If you guys want to continue to comment below, feel free to. Tomorrow on YouTube and Spotify, we have our 37th episode coming out.
There's something I got to point out. Like, Mike, what is that next to you on the wall?
This here?
Yeah, what is that?
It's a picture. This is you, and this is me. This is RJ wearing headset, and this is your handwriting.
I remember doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the idea was to put it on a shirt.
Right? I think we talked about putting it on a shirt once.
Yeah. I mean that'd be cool if someone was like, I would pay like $15 or $20 for that to be on a shirt, and here's my size and here's my address. I'm gonna pay some money. Like that would be cool thing.
Yeah. RJ doesn't need a shirt apparently.
No, he's already.
I hate this. I hate this promo.
I'm gonna make one for Saturday. I'm gonna make one for Saturday for the party.
I will wear my. We should all wear our Udemy hello, just in case anyone in your family who still doesn't watch us wants to start.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, by the way, to Mike's and Andy's family for allowing us to survive this long. We couldn't do it without your support and your comments.
If we all wear the shirts, it'll remind my grandfather that he said like last Thanksgiving he was going to start watching the show, but I still haven't seen him on here yet.
He's still trying to figure out how to get on.
Well, hey, here we are. Ben and Leslie from Parks and Rec versus DJ and Steve from Full House and Fuller House. I'm going to go with DJ and Steve. I'm going to make this easy for me.
Yeah, I still don't know Ben and Leslie, so it's going to be DJ and Steve for me too. Andy seems perturbed.
I was torn. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, well, that's it then. Ben and Leslie, awesome. Scott not Scott.
Scott Weiland?
Adam Scott. Adam Scott is one of my favorites. He's in The Good Place. He's in Big Little Lies, Step Brothers, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. Not all of those are winners. Leap Year, August, just a bunch of cool stuff. He's great. He's funny. I forgot that he was in Boy Meets World as Griff Hawkins.
Oh yeah.
I literally just found that out as I'm reading it to you right now. I have to go back and watch this again. I had no idea that was him. But him and Rob Lowe on screen, they were hilarious. And Rob Lowe is like my new favorite guy of all time.
I think he's replacing Rachel McAdams. An expose.
Rob Lowe?
Like Rob Lowe. That's 2 episodes in a row.
I like Rob Lowe. He's on 911 Lone Star.
I mentioned that before, yes.
He could fight my fire. But yeah, Rob Lowe's the man. I don't care.
This is why I don't.
Anybody other? Is anyone else a Rob Lowe fan on these comments? Come on, people. Who hates Rob Lowe? That's like someone saying they hate Tom Hanks. There's no reason to hate Tom Hanks. Has he done anything wrong, Andy, recently? He's good, right?
Tom Hanks, I think he's good. Yeah.
He never got caught.
I haven't Google checked.
He never got caught for doing anything. That's why.
Rob Lowe better than The Rock and Keanu Reeves.
Ooh,
yeah, maybe. Thank you, Mary Lou, who loves Rob Lowe. There's nothing to hate about Rob Lowe. But anyways, moving on. He's probably a terrible person in real life, but I like him. He's cool. He seems nice.
You just have to like him on screen.
I like to like people off screen too. I mean, it sounds worse than I meant it to, but there it is. Moving on, we have Monica and Chandler. Oh, this is a big one versus Jessie and Becky. Oof.
This could have been the finals.
Probably. Monica and Chandler from Friends. Jessie and Becky. Full House. Full House versus Friends. It's a big deal. What are y'all thinking?
Friends, Full House.
I'm gonna go with Mondler. Thank you, Tina. It wouldn't be Mandler? Or
No.
Chanukah? Oh, Chanukah.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, I'm going Monica and Chandler. Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was much more fun to watch Monica and Chandler. Jessie and Becky were just kind of there. You know, you were like, they're together. Right.
They were a little they were a little like superficial, you know, like they especially
that whole show was superficial.
Well, like especially at the beginning, like he was kind of like, I'm just like the pretty boy and don't mess with my hair and that kind of stuff. As he progressed as a character, like
you sound bitter.
A little piece of his character, but he was more than that. Like he became more of a Family Guy, like not Family Guy like Peter Griffin, but you know. But there were some nice parts of them, like when she was trying to tell him that she was pregnant, and she had all the baby food out, and he's like eating a little baby corn, and he's like still figured out that she's pregnant, right? He's like, baby this, baby that. I don't get it because I'm a moron. And then she's like, oh, I got twins, and yeah. So and then they had like on again, off again, like marriages. Like, did they like run out on their first one or something? Lame, like, what happened?
Yeah. She was questioning their relationship at their first wedding.
They were living in his brother-in-law's attic, I think.
What is that sound?
Like,
I don't know. Anyways, moving on. She's having a hot dog. What does that mean?
And
the food, the baby food.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, moving on. We've got Kevin and Winnie from the Wonder Years versus Cory and Topanga from Boy Meets World. This is gonna, I just don't know enough about Kevin and Winnie. I saw a lot of Wonder Years shows, but I just don't know enough about them. Cory and Topanga I like, but I hated that they got married right in high school graduation. He asked her. It's too young, kids. They got married at 24. That was a mistake.
You would have done that too.
Back then, the day after you graduated high school, you had a full-time job selling used Dodges, and you could afford a 3,000 square foot house. That's how that time was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Cory and Topanga, however, it's such a great show. They were everybody's,
They broke up like a zillion times too.
Yeah. They did because they were in high school and middle school and college. And then friggin' Wonder Years. Wait. Yeah. Kevin tried to touch Topanga as a teacher. I forgot about that. Kevin plays a teacher when she's in college who tries to molest her. And it was a super serious Boy Meets World episode. So I'm not voting for Kevin. Cory and Topanga.
But it wasn't Kevin.
Wait, is this
It was Kevin.
This is the Battle of the Savages.
Oh, you're right. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I forgot. They're brothers. Ben Savage plays Cory. Whatever other Savage plays Kevin.
Fred Savage is Kevin.
Fred Savage. Oh my word.
Which one was in Little Monsters?
Lord.
Pig.
That was oh wait. Yeah, which one wasn't Little Monsters?
That was Fred Savage.
That was Fred.
Yeah, Fred's the movie star. Ben's done nothing. He did Boy Meets World.
He made more money doing a TV show. That's what he did.
That's probably true. Yeah, and he was in Girl Meets World later, which was it lasted like 3 or 4 seasons.
So RJ, you're going with Topanga?
I'm going with Cory and Topanga. I'm going with the better brother here.
Yeah,
I do like Fred Savage. He's the man.
I'm going with Cory.
Just don't touch Topanga.
I'm going Cory and Topanga.
I could have chosen either one here. Kevin and Winnie. Well, I can't choose either one now, but Kevin and Winnie were kids. They kissed when they were 12 for the first time, but never really they never really solidified it as a quote unquote relationship until later on. And then even then things got kind of weird. They were on again, off again. But it was a good show about friendship and being a kid and dealing with stuff.
Yeah. Like you wanted Kevin and Winnie to end up together. Because the whole childhood thing, they're friends and stuff like that. And it was just it was meant to be, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, there were some really sweet moments. There was an episode where Kevin ended up getting a job as a delivery driver for like Chinese food or whatever. And he was working so much that Winnie never got to see him. So she ordered Chinese food from the restaurant and had it delivered to her house and surprised him, which I don't know how you would do that because, he would have to drive to her house.
Yeah. He's like,
but then they sat down and they ate dinner and,
And then he got fired for time theft because he was missing for an hour.
You think he was punching in and out for his job back then?
They were like, you have 7 other deliveries. Where are you?
I'm eating them with my girlfriend.
But I didn't know lived here. And you sent me to her address. What a coincidence.
So in the new fall lineup, there is a Wonder Years reboot happening with another family. It's actually going to follow a black family in Montgomery, Alabama in the same era. I did see the trailer. It does look actually pretty decent. And it's going to be executive produced by the Empire co-creator and the Big Bang Theory co-creator. So it does actually look pretty decent. Very similar vibe to the Wonder Years, minus the fact that it's about a black family instead of a white family this time. But it looks pretty good. So I'm excited. And Fred Savage actually called the new lead and congratulated him and actually was the one to give him the part. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm tired of reboots, but if they're going to do like something completely different with it, then I'm kind of.
Yeah, this is kind of just a complete redo of the show. I don't think it's going to star anybody from the original. I don't know. There's been a couple reboots I enjoyed. I mean, you enjoyed Fuller House, so that was a good one. I'm enjoying The Connors, which I think is pretty good. But yeah, we are on our last couple here, and it's a good one. It's Mitch and Cam and Jim and Pam. Mitch and Cam from The Modern Family and Jim and Pam from The Office. How you feeling, guys?
I don't know anything about either one of these couples.
Jim and Pam, The Office for sure.
I'll make it easy. Jim and Pam.
Yeah. All right, Jim and Pam. Moving on. Mitch and Cam, for people who don't know, is probably one of the first, not the first, but one of the first really prominent couples featured on a show that is a same-sex couple. Obviously, there was many before that with people coming out on shows. Ellen, probably others that you guys can.
Buffy.
Oh yes,
Willow and Tara. Yeah, was on my list.
And Will and Grace, right? Was a show that had some same-sex couples. If I'm I don't watch that show. So
that was a weird dynamic on that show.
Yeah,
but it was funny.
Yeah. But Mitch and Cam is probably one of the first that I've seen that really normalized different types of families. I mean, Modern Family, the whole point of that show is to show that there are many different types of families. There's Phil and Claire, which is the normal, regular, everyday family of the 2 adults and 2.5 children, right? And then you've got the older couple there, Ed O'Neill and Sofia Vergara, who play a divorced couple who are together, or he's divorced. And then you've got the same-sex couple and all that deal. So if you haven't seen that show, take some time. It is a really funny show, and they don't really approach those topics much. It leans more on the comedy side of things, but it's still, I think, an important thing to note.
Yeah, I don't even know if they kiss on camera either. I was reading about that, like I don't know.
They do. It just took a very long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like, wait, what year is this? Like,
yeah, we're in the 21st century. Like, get over it.
Excuse me, the Parent Student Teacher Council is still around. They will come after you.
I don't care.
They saw a problem with that. But
you'd be surprised, but yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. But Mitch and Cam, hilarious. Cam is such an awesome character. Like, he likes to dress up as a clown for like parties, and it scares Mitch. And so that's like a really funny part. They end up adopting Lily, right? I believe that's the daughter, and she's hilarious herself. Like, kind of like her one-liners, and it's just, but they were great parents as well. Every single couple on that show really played off each other really well, because not only you had 3 couples, but then they were friends and family, and they just kind of hung around. So they all had like these interesting dynamics with each other. So that's what made the show really great. Just an awesome couple. But Jim,
well, here we are. We're
Jim and Pam are like, come on.
I know.
We're
in the top 4,
Jim
and
Pam.
I don't think that I'm disappointed with any of these names being in the top 4. But it's DJ and Steve from Full House, Cory and Topanga from Boy Meets World, Monica and Chandler from Friends, and Jim and Pam from The Office. People at home, what are your thoughts? Are you surprised by any of these names? And who do you want to win? But let's get right into it. We've got DJ and Steve versus Monica and Chandler. This is a tough one. Full House versus Friends. Same time period, just about. That's true. Well, I don't know. 2000s really is just Jim and Pam, to my knowledge. Cory and Topanga was 90s too. Am I incorrect on that?
Well, Friends was kind of early 2000s, wasn't it?
No, I think that was 90s as well. Maybe definitely into the 2000s. But.
Yeah.
But anyways, DJ and Steve, Monica and Chandler. What are you guys thinking?
Monica and Chandler.
Oh, wow, going right into it, huh?
All right. Lori agrees. Monica and Chandler. Also, Tina.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Monica and Chandler, it was a surprise when they got together. Like, there was always the what if, and hey, I really think they should. DJ and Steve, it was expected. And even still with DJ and Steve, there was this element of that she was almost just like putting up with him because he was dumb as a box of rocks.
Eating all the damn food in the house.
Yeah, eating all the food. When she was nice enough not to have him kicked out for eating all the food. I don't know. I think I would also have to go with Monica and Chandler. The DJ and Steve thing felt kind of forced because they were just apparently the only 2 kids that knew each other in the neighborhood besides Gibbler.
A little bit, yeah. I don't think it's kind of unfair, like them as a high school couple, right? Any high school couple, it's got because you're young and and done. So it's the relationship's going to look a little different than versus Fuller House when they got back together.
Mm-hmm.
They've grown up. They've both been through relationships. They have their past, but they're looking for a different future. So they had to kind of like reestablish their relationship, and it worked out. And it sent the folks home happy. If you have not seen Fuller House, I did not say spoiler alert, but
too bad.
Tough noogies. If you didn't think that was going to happen, then
yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't.
In the last episode, he gets eaten by zombies.
Wait, don't.
And then bashes someone's head in with a bat.
Bashes his head in with a bat, and then Uncle Jesse comes in and eats his brains.
And then Fred Savage comes in and just does some weird things.
And then Aunt Becky comes in and shanks him.
Yep.
No, she pays for him to get to school. No, but DJ and Steve, I agree. They're to me, they're the quintessential '90s. Like everybody knows DJ and Steve. Like it is what it is. They were never the serious end all be all couple. Monica and Chandler, like you said, just came out of nowhere. Everybody had their eyes on Ross and Chandler, Ross and Rachel.
Oh, Friends was really progressive.
I mean, I had my eyes on Ross and Chandler. But Monica and Chandler was just a pleasant surprise, and I really enjoyed it. And all the way to the end, I cared about what was happening with them more than I cared about what was happening with Ross and Rachel. So my vote was Monica and Chandler as well. So they are moving into the finals. We kicked out DJ and Steve. So yeah, DJ and Steve, obviously, like you said, come back in Fuller House. There is a will they, won't they again in Fuller House between him and her fellow coworker, who's a veterinarian, and he is a foot doctor for a sports team, a local sports team. But Steve hasn't changed. DJ really hasn't changed much. I do love the show. I did not see the last season, so I didn't hear your spoiler, Andy, but don't say it again. But yeah, DJ and Steve are great, but Monica and Chandler are in the finals. Finally, we have Cory and Topanga versus Jim and Pam. This is a tough one for me. This one might be the toughest one so far for me. Cory and Topanga, quintessential 90s Boy Meets World, great show. And Jim and Pam, the quintessential 2000s. 2000s. Roll Tide.
So the Cory and Topanga thing, you could just as easily transpose everything we said about DJ and Steve over to Cory and Topanga. But the dynamic, I feel like,
get married.
Yeah, I was going to say the dynamic turned out to be a little bit different, where even in their younger years, they still approached the relationship a little bit on a more mature level than DJ and Steve. And I don't know if that was just the way the Copanga. I don't know if that was just the way the show was written, if they just had a better on-screen dynamic, but it felt a little bit more grounded, even though there was some kooky stuff that happened because there had to be. It was more of like a young teens show, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm going with Cory and Topanga because I don't know Jim and Pam that well, but that's my 2 cents.
All right. Andy, you have anything?
Yeah, Jim and Pam.
Oh, put me on the line. Okay.
Corey Matthews was a little a-hole.
They were both jerks. They were high school kids.
They broke up a bunch of times. Again, they were kids.
They broke up 3 times according to my notes.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, all right. I'm gonna go with it, and I know I'm gonna make everyone mad, but Jim and Pam as well. Jim and Pam. Jim and Pam. It was one of those you just wanted it to happen for so long. It finally did, and it was worth it. They were funny. They were great together. But yeah, Jim and Pam. So we are in the finals, guys. This is it. We're coming up on the end of the show. We have Monica and Chandler versus Jim and Pam. I'm not surprised here. The only surprise I have, I guess, most countdowns would probably put Ross and Rachel in that position. But honestly, I think we all agree Monica and Chandler are just a better couple. But it is Friends versus The Office. 90s versus the 2000s. What are you guys thinking? Everybody at home, what are you thinking here? Jim and Pam versus Monica and Chandler. Let's talk about them. Monica and Chandler. Got anything last to say about them, guys?
Yeah. What do you got, Mike?
They were friends forever. They've known each other since they were teenagers. So, like I was saying before, they've kind of been through it all. I don't know.
It was supposed to be like a one-off fling, right? And then they realized they had a little bit more connection than they thought they did. Yeah, Mike has no F about it.
Look, Tim, I can't watch everything, okay?
You haven't watched anything.
That's not true. I just haven't watched anything in the 2000s.
You're sitting here and being like, guys, have you seen F Troop? It's so good. Like, that's the last show you've seen.
Goof Troop? I saw Goof Troop.
Sorry, was that too long ago? Sorry.
So the whole
the Dukes of Hazzard.
I didn't watch that either.
So the big thing about Monica and Chandler too were is Chandler gonna be able to commit, right? Because he didn't want to get married. He had that fear of commitment. And then she was kind of thinking, well, maybe I go back to Richard, right? And then she starts to propose to him, all right? Which more power to her, right? And then, but my point of this is that this turns into the worst fake crying acting I've ever seen in my life by Chandler. Sorry, Matthew Perry, but that was not a great scene for you. Everything else I love. But that one scene, me and Tina laughing all the time. Come on, you couldn't put an onion in your pocket or pinch yourself or something. Get some tears out of there, right? And then him Jam or Manler. Oh my god. I'm gonna change my name to Jam Manler.
It's gonna be your ring name.
Down to the ring. Oh, Lexington, Kentucky, Jam Manler. Yeah! I'll be like a cowboy. Yeah. But in the end, it all works out, right? They adopt a baby, get married, move off to Westchester, live their little life together.
Yep. And then there's
So were you voting for Monica and Chandler?
No, we're going to talk about Jim and Pam now.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Yeah, Jim and Pam, man. I don't remember how long it took, but I want to say it was at least 3 seasons of determining what was going on with them. Oh my word. Pam was with the downstairs guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the downstairs guy. Yeah.
Must have been a great show.
Yes, it was so
what the hell was his name?
All right. Sorry, guys.
At least Friends gave the naked guy across the street a name. He was naked guy across the street.
The thing I like about Jim and Pam is it caught the attention of the documentary crew from the very first moments. Their constant joking, their quick exchanges, and there's just a lot of reoccurring stuff going on. She dated Roy, the warehouse employee downstairs. For 3 years, they'd yet to set a date for the wedding. He was a jerk, even though I do like him as an actor. He's actually a really good actor. And I'm trying to remember if it was about 3 seasons or so, but they end up, he ends up proposing to her at a gas station, if I can remember right. And it was such a great moment. And I enjoyed them together too.
Even their wedding, they're looking at the ceremony and they're like, this is not what we want whatsoever. Yeah, we got all our friends and family here, but the day wasn't going as planned as they want. And was it Niagara Falls? They went off on whatever that boat is that I will never go on.
The Maid of the Mist.
Maid of the Mist, and got married on there and covered in water, right? And they just had that perfect marriage, just the two of them. Which is kind of what they always wanted, and they had kids, and then oh crap, then stuff starts to happen, right? And they get a little shaky relationship, and then the cameraman tries to swoop in because Jim's starting to hide stuff about buying a house without telling her, and investing in a company, and she's like, "Hey, buddy, we're a couple. You need to loop me in on this stuff." Yeah, so the cameraman was like, What's that meme with that guy looking really funny?
Yeah.
Like, that was him. He's like, oh, you're sad. I'll be the nice guy. Yeah.
Sounds shady.
Super shady.
Hmm.
Super shady.
Well, this is it, guys. Who are we voting for? So, Mike, who do you got?
I don't know. I think Andy just convinced me to not pick Jim and Pam. I don't know. I think even if I did know who Jim and Pam is, I know they're, you know, super funny. Everybody loves them, but I don't know. There's always you got to go with Monica and Chandler. It's always going to be friends.
All right, Monica and Chandler. Andy, how you feeling?
Pass.
Well, if so, it's going to make it very anticlimactic because I am also voting for Monica and Chandler.
You did something anticlimactic.
We need some sort of sound.
So that's it.
From now on.
Monica and Chandler. That's what you're going with.
Monica and Chandler.
Monica and Chandler is the winner. Andy, what would you have chosen?
Shoot.
And the crowd goes wild.
Last minute switch tight.
Last minute switches are so always tight.
I don't feel like there was enough drama between Monica and Chandler. There was a little bit there, but I liked the Jim and Pam more as an interesting couple. Like, I liked how they could joke. So
you would have chosen Jim and Pam?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, then I'll switch. I'm going to choose Jim and Pam.
No. But
all right.
I'm not. I was on the fence. So either way, I'm okay with. So I'm not disappointed.
All right. Well, hey, Tim, thank you for bringing that up. It's the what is the name of that show? Pitch Meetings.
Ryan George. Yeah.
Pitch Meetings. Yeah. So I was showing my kids one of them because a couple of them are decent for kids. So I showed them a couple. But then the one I decided to show them, he said something about butts, and he's like, "Yeah, butts are tight." my kids won't stop saying butts are tight now, and I'm like, you can't say that anymore. Wow. Again, if you want to know what we're talking about, look up Pitch Meetings. They're hilarious. But yeah, this is it. Monica and Chandler, greatest TV couple of all time.
I mean, what if you Google buttholes are tight with that?
Don't Google anything along those lines, please.
Don't listen to Andy when he says Google that. It's just not good.
Anytime Andy prefaces something with Google that, just stop listening immediately.
Don't do it. Andy, how does it make you feel that your wife just pictures that you're really Chandler, essentially?
Could I be?
She's like, this hurts that you're really you. I just always thought you were Chandler. What are some of the couples that didn't make it? Comment below for some of the couples that you wish were on the list. But what about you guys? What are you thinking?
Yeah, Edith and Archie were on my list. They did love each other and hated everyone else. So that's kind of why they didn't make the list. I also had Willow and Tara from Buffy. Kind of the first, gay couple on like syndicated television that, kind of pushed the limits of what was expected or on TV. Yeah, Lucy was on my list as well. You guys apparently don't care. I love Lucy.
I had some older ones on there too. I was thinking of them. I'm surprised that Dre and Rainbow didn't make it from Blackish. Luke and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls, Randall and Beth from This Is Us, Jonah and Amy from Superstore, New Girl for me, Jess and Nick, and Winston and Allie. And if you want to go if I want to show my age, Elizabeth and Henry from Madam Secretary. I had them on there. And if you want to go full blown problems, Veronica and Kevin from Shameless was another one. And finally, Eleanor and Chidi from The Good Place was a big one for me. But Andy, what about you?
George and Louise from The Jeffersons. Marshall and Lily from How I Met Your Mother, even though there was some conflict there. Mike and Carol from the Brady Bunch.
Yep.
And then I also had Gloria and Jay from Modern Family. We could have had the trifecta.
Yeah.
Because they were seen as like the odd couple. Well, Tim, we didn't go with any cartoon couples.
No cartoon couples. Only humans. We just hated on everybody that wasn't human. So
that's why Michael and Kit didn't make the list.
Who?
That's a Knight Rider reference. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
It's a man in a car. Goodness gracious.
We could have went with Joaquin Phoenix in his phone too, but we didn't do that.
Joaquin Phoenix and Society. It's a Joker.
What about Keanu Reeves and his dog? Like, what's the deal here? Come on.
Right.
He's killed 309 people for that dog.
Yeah, John Wick is great.
What is that in front of you right now? What are you smelling?
I'm drinking. It's my water.
Oh, I just saw you smelling it. I was like, why is he smelling that?
I'm thirsty, man. We talk a lot.
You
drink from it again. Drink from it again. Look, it looks like a mic. It's like, hello.
Mike, it'd be cool if you put like our pictures.
Put our faces.
Put that logo on a water bottle.
Hey, Timothy, I'm glad you mentioned that. Jessie is obsessed with Richard Attenborough and science, so she will like that. Anyways, guys, hey, thank you for joining us. We are hitting quite a bit late. Oh, Dick Van Dyke and yes, they were on my list. Rob and Laura, one of my favorites. I don't know why they win. They win. That's it. They're the winners. They slept in separate beds. They're wholesome. It's just how it worked.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. No. As soon as the cameras were off, they hopped in that twin bed together. Faux show.
No, you just push them together.
No, they push them
together, man. Come on.
Whatever. You get close, cuddle. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us for another edition of You Dab Me a Hello. And we will be back next week, right, Andy? Next week? That's our third week, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
I like it. We'll see.
We'll be back. Yeah. So we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow, catch an all-new episode of You Dab Me a Hello on YouTube and Spotify and anywhere else you can get your podcasts. But good night. Thank you. Have a great day.